Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? This is your guy, Joe Martin, checking in. 750 credit score on Instagram. Your favorite big brother, the Simplicity Genius. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you on downloading the Underwriting Playbook Map Guide. This map guide is a map guide from getting from A to Z. So I don't care where you at on your journey. This guide is going to help you get from A to Z. So what I want to do is I want to break down a lot of crucial points on this map guide. So I'm going to share my screen in a second, but I want to break down some crucial points on this map guide, and I want to help you navigate your way through wherever the goal is that you're on your way to. Okay, so now with just a few things I want you to do, right? You already downloaded the free map guide. So I'm gonna shoot this video and I'm gonna give you so much information in this video, but below there's a calendar because I want to give you a free 15-minute call so you can talk with myself or somebody from my staff on this map guide for your personal growth. Wherever you at personally, this would be a personal phone call between you, myself, or someone from my staff so that we could break this playbook down to fit your situation wherever you at right now. So hit that link down there below. You might see a calendar below. Hit that calendar. Go ahead and schedule your free 15-minute call, right? And then we'll just go from there. Now, I want to go ahead and dive on over to this Underwriting Playbook Map Guide so that we could talk about a few things, because this is very important, especially if you're building business, if you want to better in the betterment of your family, the betterment of yourself, wherever you at in life, this map guide will help you. I know we talk about underwriting playbook, but at the end of the day, when you start talking about financial products like mortgages, loans, credit cards, auto loans, things like that, there's always a phase that goes through, and it goes through underwriting. So what I did was I wanted to go ahead and design the underwriting handbook or the underwriting playbook so that you will know everything that you need to know when it goes to that underwriting process, so that you could be ahead of the game versus being behind the game. The worst thing in the world is getting to a situation where you right there and you can't even get on the starting line because of something that you didn't already do as far as pre-positioning yourself. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and then we're gonna start breaking down some crucial points on this playbook. Right now, after we do this, like I said, schedule that 15-minute call, because that call is going to be very informative, it's going to be very important, and it's going to definitely help you with understanding of where you need to go. You'll have a full map guide, a full roadmap. So let's jump over to this video. All right, you guys, we at the Underwriting Playbook Map Guide. Get approved for up to $150K in 14 days without the confusion and headaches of getting denied by underwriters. That's the goal, right? I want you to be able to get approved for up to $150,000 in 14 days without the confusion and headache of getting denied by underwriters. So let's talk about pre-positioning. So as we look over here, what I did was, in this map guide, I got 3 different sections because I want you to maximize your opportunity. I want you to be able to go get as much working capital as you can from different entities other than your personal self. And we'll talk about that a little bit. So the first section, we're talking about personal credit, right? That's where everything starts. So I don't care what nobody tell you, right? If they say, hey, build your business credit so that you can go get some working capital on your business, don't worry about your personal credit. That's all fluff. People say that just to get people to fill out some type of opt-in form, or just to get, a possible chance to even talk to that person, right? And then when they talk to that person, 9 times out of 10, it's always going to lead back to personal credit. So when you hear somebody say, go get all this working capital, and so you don't have to worry about your personal credit, that's all fluff. I'm gonna tell you something. Start with your personal credit, or start with both, but make sure that your personal credit is involved in the process, because you have to definitely have great personal credit. So the first thing we're going to talk about is checking your credit report, right? The reason why you want to check your credit report is because you need to make sure, you need to know where you at. It's a lot of people. I ask people sometimes, I say, hey, when was the last time you checked your credit score or your credit profile? and it's been months, some of them been years, right? So I want all my members to get into the habit of making sure that they check their credit reports on the regular, right? So you want to make sure you want to know where you at, because if you don't know where you at, how do you know where you're going to, how you know where you're going if you don't know where you at, right? You have to know where you at. So now on personal credit, the lowest credit score that anyone could possibly have is a 300. The highest credit score that anyone could possibly have is an 850. Now, the distance from 300 to 850 leaves 550 points in between. Now, it's 5 factors combined that's creating your credit score. And those 5 factors is payment history. Payment history makes up 35% of your score. And in that 35%, you're getting 192.5 points. So when you got derogatory items, when you got charge-offs, when you got collections, when you got late payments, anything that's deemed as negative on your file is going to be pulling away from that 35%. So as these items start to fall off the file, the collection accounts, charge-offs, late payments, just anything negative, as they start to fall off the file, you start getting your points back in that 35%. If you didn't have nothing on your file at all that was negative or derogatory, you'll be getting that whole 35%, which is 192.5 points. Now, the next factor is utilization. Utilization makes up 30% of your score. So in that 30%, you're getting 165 points. Now, what creates utilization? What creates utilization is a revolving account or a line of credit, something that's revolving, right? In that 30%, you're getting 165 points. So I always tell people to get the bulk of that 165 points, you want to make sure that you keep your utilization between 1 and 6% utilized. So a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody and I ask them, I say, hey, when was the last time you checked your score? They say, I checked it yesterday. I say, well, what was your score at when you checked it? They say, my score was at a 530. I instantly know that they're dealing with some type of utilization issue. Either they don't have an active credit card, or if they do have a credit card, it's maxed out. So they still missing that 30%. So they still missing that 165 points. So in a situation like that, when a person is missing that 30% or that 165 points, whatever you want to call it, the first thing that I do is I put them on a playbook or blueprint so that we could go ahead and establish some revolving accounts so that we could kick that 30%, kick that 165 points back into their scoring, which is going to open up more opportunity for them to get whatever it is that they want to get, whether it's a mortgage, an auto installment, personal installment, or a credit card, or even a business loan. See, a lot of times when you do business loans, they want to see the business owner's personal credit profile. That's what you call a personal guarantor. Okay, now the next factor is age. Age makes up 15% of the score. So in that 15%, you're getting 82.5 points. To get the bulk of that 15%, you want your age to be between 10 and 12 years average. Now, age is something that grows organically. So from the moment that an account hits your file, it's birth, it's born, right? So from that moment on, that account is going to be aging on your file, right? So the way that we break this down a lot of times, let's just say, for instance, if I'm looking at a guy named Tim File, and Tim has 5 accounts that was all open 5 years ago. So I'm going to take those accounts and I'm going to combine the years. So if he got 5 accounts all open 5 years ago combined, Tim has 25 years. So I'm going to take that 25 years and I'm going to divide it by how many accounts he got, which is 5. So 25 divided by 5, Tim's average age is 5 years old. So based on the fact that he got an average of 5 years age, he's getting some of that 82.5 points that's coming from the 15% age, right? So as his age continue to grow, he get more of the 82.5 points. Now, age could be fabricated. So let's just say, for instance, if Tim called his grandmother and he say, hey, grandma, how many credit cards you got? And grandma say, well, Tim, I got one credit card that's 35 years old. And Tim say, well, grandma, can you add me on that card as an authorized user? And grandma say, yeah, Tim, no problem. I got you, right? So now Tim no longer has 5 accounts. Now he got 6 accounts. Tim no longer got 25 years combined because grandma just added 35 to his 25. So now he got 60 years combined. So we redo the math. Instead of us doing 25 divided by 5, now we're going to do 60 divided by 6. And Tim's average age just went from an average of 5 years to an average of 12 years. So the minute that he went from average 5 years age to average 12 of years age, guess what? He kicked in the bulk of that 82.5 points that's coming from the 15% age. You see? So it can be fabricated, but I always tell people, listen, you want to definitely and make sure you build the primary content on the credit file. You could do a lot of things to fabricate the data and the scoring. You could do a lot of things to fabricate it, but you still have to make sure you got great content. And what I mean by that is, I had a guy come to me one time. He said, "Hey, Joe, I got a 760 credit score, but I keep running into the wall with these banks. I can't get nothing from these banks. You know, they should be giving me everything because I got a 760 credit score." I say, man, listen, set up a credit monitoring. Let me check your profile. Let me see why you keep running into these walls. So he did that. I looked at his file. True, he did have a 760 credit score, but everything on his credit profile was authorized users. So his content was poor, right? So when they go to underwriting, the underwriter say, yeah, I see the 760, but none of these accounts are yours. You have no primary accounts on your file. So I can't even see your story, right? Your credit profile is not telling me your story. It's telling me a story from people that have you on there as authorized users. So I tell people all the time, make sure you always focus on content versus score. Content versus score. Stop being so score driven. You know, everybody want to talk about score. No, you need to focus on content, right? Content versus score. All right. Now, the next factor is mixture. Mixture makes up 10% of your score. So in that 10%, you're getting 55 points. Now, it's a 4-piece mix that FICO is looking for. They're looking for a revolving account, which is a credit card or a line of credit. They're looking for a personal installment, which is a personal loan. They're looking for an auto installment, which is an auto loan, and they're looking for a mortgage. It's okay if you don't have all 4 pieces because that's why we're working. We're going to work to get all 4. Now, mixture makes up 10% of your score. So in that 10%, you're getting 55 points. So if you had all 4 pieces of the mix, 9 times out of 10, you'll be getting that full 55 points added to the score in the algorithm. Okay. Now, the next and the last factor that's creating the personal credit is inquiries. Now, you have a soft inquiry, you got a hard inquiry. A soft inquiry is something that don't affect the file. A hard inquiry does affect the file. A hard inquiry is when you actually go to a financial institution, apply for something, they look at your credit to determine whether you get it or not, and it hits your file as a hard inquiry. Now, inquiries make up 10% of your score. So in that 10%, you're getting 55 points as well. So it don't matter if you had 89 inquiries or if you only had 9 inquiries. The most that inquiries can affect the file is only by 55 points because it make up 10% of the score. Okay, now, whew, that was a mouthful. I hope y'all wrote down some notes on that, but it's cool though, because like I said, when you schedule that 15-minute call, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that side. See, the reason why I start with personal credit is because we talking about going from A to Z, and Z is you actually getting whatever that product is that you want, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's an auto loan, whether it's a personal loan, whether it's a business loan, regardless of whatever it is. Before you even get to that point, we got to start with personal credit. You know, we got to start with personal credit. So that's why on this map guide, that's the first thing that we talking about is personal credit, because that's the starting point. That's going to get you the seat at the table, right? We need to get a seat at the table. We need to get a spot in the race, right? And if we got bad credit or challenge credit or no credit, then we can't even sit at the table to even discuss what's next, right? So I wanted to start with personal credit. Now, and we got some more information in here, but like I said, when you schedule that 15-minute call, we'll really dive all into this so we can see exactly where you at, where you need to be, and then we'll put a roadmap together to get you exactly where you need to go. Okay, so after we come through personal credit, the next thing that we're on is business credit. The reason why I'm talking about business credit is this, y'all, right? As a person, we got a social security number, which is 9 digits. Right? That's connecting us to the person. As a business, we have an EIN number, which is an employer identification number. That's a 9-digit number that's connected to the business. What I always tell people is when you say the word corporation, the first word that you hear in corporation is corpse. Now, what is a corp? A corp is a body. Now, when we talk about a body, we're not talking about the human body. We're talking about the corporate body, a business body, right? The human body has a social security number and the business body has an EIN number. The business body has federal tax ID number. The business body have a Dun and Bradstreet number. And guess what? All of those numbers are 9 digits, just like a social security number is 9 digits, right? So we want to make sure that we establish a business so that we could take the liability off the person and put the liability on the business. Okay. I'm big on carrying the liability on the business. And we're going to talk about even carrying the revolving debt on a business versus carrying it on a person. Because guess what? Remember earlier I told you utilization make up 30% of your score. So in that 30%, you're getting 165 points to your personal credit file. Guess what? If you use a business credit card that's attached to the person, then it's going to raise your utilization, which is going to lower your score, right? And it's going to make you hard. It's going to make it hard for you to be able to sit at the table to talk about the possibilities of funding, the possibilities of getting these banking products, the possibilities of getting these auto loans, whatever you want to call it, right? If our score drop, then we're minimizing our chances of getting those things, right? So we don't want to use our personal credit, revolving credit too much because it affects the score. So guess what? What if we was able to go get 50,000 in business credit, carrying the liability on the business, which will not affect our personal score. So that means every 3 to 6 months, if I wanted to go be a personal guarantor on business, I'm in position to be a strong personal guarantor versus being a person that's carrying a lot of personal revolving debt, lowering my score, making it hard for me to get past underwriting to get a loan or get a banking product, right? So we want to make sure we carry all the liability on the business, all right? So what we're going to do, first thing, we want to be able to structure our personal credit. And then after we structure our personal credit, now we want to start, or you could do it simultaneously. That's totally up to you. Now we want to start focusing on our business credit because like I said, it's about taking the liability off the person and putting the liability on the business. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure we put the liability on the business. So when we get into this part right here, I really want to talk to you about how to build a fundable foundation for the business. That's very important. A lot of people go out here, they start these businesses and they don't do no due diligence on the business. They don't do no kind of research. They don't do no kind of studying on the business that they start, and they find themselves creating a business that's in one of those restricted areas where you can't get no funding for that business, right? So you want to make sure that you build a fundable foundation for that business so that every 3 to 6 months you can go get some working capital on the business. Okay. Now, when we schedule that call or when you schedule that call, I want to go over everything about business credit. I want to tell you how it's broke down. I want to tell you how it's structured. I want to show you how the business credit works with the personal credit, how the personal credit works with the business credit, because we need to make sure we got all of we want to make sure our T's is crossing, our I's is dotted, right? So it don't matter if we're starting with personal credit, we got to make sure we get to a place where we need to be. Once we get there, let's put our personal credit in the garage, put a car cover over it, and we just going to use that to be a personal guarantor for the business credit. Because remember, I told y'all, we want to make sure we carry the liability on the business and not carry the liability on the person. Okay, now, that was a mouthful. Like I said, I hope that y'all writing down notes, but it don't matter if you writing down notes right now or not, because when you schedule that 15-minute call, we're going to go over some of this same information anyway. And if you join the underwriting membership, you got, man, I did over 60 lessons. Over 60 lessons of underwriting. It's underwriting, personal credit, business credit. It's a lot of lessons. I made sure I put a whole lot of information in there because it's so much. Information rule the nation. At the end of the day, the more information that we have, the more right information that we have, the better we are all at getting the things that we need, to continue to grow in our lives. Okay. So here we go. Business credit. Pretty much talked about it, but choose the right business structure. Okay. Choosing the right business structure is important for building a fundable foundation. A limited liability company, which is a LLC, or a corporation is often the best choice, as it provides liability protection and can help establish business credit. Okay, we just talked about that. Now, obtain an employer identification number, which is an EIN number. I just talked about the 9 digits. That's the employer identification number. An EIN is a unique 9-digit number that identifies your business for tax purposes. You can apply for an EIN online through the IRS website. And I'm gonna tell y'all, when you schedule that 15-minute call, if you haven't did that already, I'm gonna give you the blueprint and the roadmap on how to go and do all that. The most that it'll cost you is probably about $100 for that's for the Secretary of State. Okay, that's if you haven't already established a business. No business entity. I recommend everybody get a business entity, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure we carry the liability on the business versus carrying the liability on the person. I'm going to say that so much, throughout all of this time, and you hear me talking to you, you hear me teaching you, you look at any of the live videos, you come to any of the live events, you're going to always hear me say, carry the liability on the business and don't carry the liability on the person. All right. Now, open a business bank account. Open a separate bank account for your business to keep your personal and business finances separate. This can also help establish business credit. Now, I'm going to give you a little jewel right now, right? I'm going to give you a little jewel. Most of the times when people open a business bank account, they usually go open up one bank account. So let's just say, for instance, if your company is named Notepad, right? That's your company, Notepad, right? Most people will establish the company Notepad and they'll go open one bank account for Notepad. I tell people, man, go open up 5 bank accounts for Notepad, right? Because when you open up 5 bank accounts for Notepad and you building a relationship with 5 different financial institutions, right? Let's just say after 120 days, you've been a member, you got your personal credit right where it needs to be. You got your business credit, the foundation built, and you've been doing your thing with this financial institution, these 5 of them. Let's just say, for instance, in 3 to 6 months, you go back to them and you say, hey, I'm interested in one of your business banking products. Right. And let's just say they say, yeah, sure, we got this business credit card right here. And let's just say you apply for all 5 banks, right, for a business credit card. And let's just say if all 5 banks gave you $25,000 each. Right. So now in one day or 2 days, whatever, you done went and got access to $125,000 in working capital all on the business. So when you open your business bank account, I always tell people open at least 5 bank accounts for your business. Okay. Now, as you become a member, there's strategies, there's things that I'm going to teach you as well along the way. It's some beautiful things. So it's a bunch of information I got to show you. I got so much information in my head that I'm just really going off some things right now, going over this PDF because I just want to introduce you to something that you probably don't know. Okay. So now, obtain necessary license and permits. So we'll talk a little bit about that deeper when we talk, right? So some businesses, you're going to need licenses and permits. Like if you're doing construction or if you're doing certain things, yeah, you're going to need permits, insurance, and certain things like that. Permits for certain businesses, but we'll talk about that. Now, build a business credit history. So the same way that you're building out your personal credit history, you want to make sure you build your business credit history as well, because it usually starts with one relationship, right? You get one relationship. Let's just say you did $25,000 or $15,000 loan at one place and you did good with that loan. Now, guess what? You done just opened up the gateway to so many other opportunities for funding and working capital because you did exactly what you were supposed to do with that first situation. You showed full responsibility. You handled your business the way that you were supposed to handle it. Everybody is going to see that. Other vendors, other banks, they're going to see that on the credit file. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, this is a great person to work with because he has a great responsible history. So we want to make sure we build out a great history when you're establishing any of these relationships. OK, so now, next thing we get to is the underwriting process. Now, the underwriting process this is the key, y'all. This is the juice. This is the spot right here, because everybody need working capital. Everybody need working capital. I'm gonna tell you a little bit of my ideology as well when you become part of the program, the membership, I'm gonna tell you some things. Now, I love credit, right? I love being able to go to a bank and be able to get what I need when I need it. Everybody love that. Who don't? I'm always preach cash flow too, right? I'm always preach cash flow. But when we come to this underwriting process, determine your funding needs. So before applying for a loan or a credit card, determine how much money you need and what you would like to use it for. This will help choose the right product and the right lender. Okay, so before you just go dive in and start applying for certain things, you want to make sure you do your research. You want to make sure you know what you need this funding for, right? Because if you don't know what you need the funding for, you kind of probably setting yourself up for a disaster, because you'll find yourself spending money on things you didn't when it got a loan, or you didn't when it got something, and you don't have no vision or no kind of direction or what you need it for. You might find yourself piecing off of it to the point now you just accumulated debt that you're paying for. Right? So know what you need it for. Okay. Research the lenders and products. Okay. Research lenders and their products to find the best fit for your needs. Compare interest rates, fees, and repayment terms. Do your due diligence. Don't just always go with the first person that throw you something, because it's probably something else out there that has a better interest rate, so do your due diligence. Now, it just depends on the situation. You got a lot of people. I have a lot of people that come to me. They got urgent situations, right? So I say, hey, when do you need this funding? They say, Joe, I need it yesterday. That's urgent, right? But if you know that you got time, it gives you time to do your research on the lenders and products, okay? Now, we always going to go back to check your credit, right? I told y'all that's one of the biggest things. It's going to be one of the most determining factors, is making sure that you got a great credit profile. So a lot of people, they have challenges, right? I'm liable to throw a penny in the air and it's liable to fall and hit somebody dealing with some type of challenge, whether it's a big challenge or whether it's a small challenge. It's a lot of credit challenges out there, right? So now, apply for credit. Okay. Apply for the loan or credit card that best meets your needs. Make sure you have all necessary documentation and information, such as financial statements and tax returns, right? Documentation is very important. And when you get that underwriting playbook, right, I talk all about that, right? Like I said, it's over 55 lessons, all talking about setting yourself up to be in a great place when you do get to that underwriting phase. Okay. Now, understand the right underwriting process. Once you apply for credit, the lender will review your application and credit history to determine if you qualify. Make sure you understand that the underwriting process and what factors lenders consider when making their decision. That's what this underwriting playbook is for, right? I want you to be ahead of the game. I don't want you to be sitting there when something hits you, you just caught blindsided and don't know what to do. You need to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, right? You need to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. All right. So that's what this underwriting playbook is about. It's more than just underwriting. We talking about business credit. We talking about personal credit. We talking about a lot of things. And you're about to join this community where it's a bunch of like-minded people, so I'm building a community of people that want more for their life, that want to strive more, that want to do more, right? I'm building a community for them. So in this community, you're going to have a lot of people just like you, right? That's trying to get from one place to another. And we all learning together. We all building together. We all working together. And we're going to get to exactly where we need to be. Okay. So next, understand the right underwriting process is crucial when applying for loans and other banking products. Underwriting is the process by which lenders evaluate the risks associated with lending money to a borrower. Lenders use underwriting to determine whether or not to approve a loan application and to set the terms of the loan, including the interest rate and repayment period, right? So there's just a little few things of what we're going to be talking about inside this underwriting playbook. It's so much information in here, right? To understand the underwriting process, it's important to know what factors lenders consider when evaluating a loan application. These factors include, and there's so much more, but this is just what I picked out to put on this map guide, okay? Credit score. Lenders will review your credit score and credit history to assess your ability to repay the loan. Okay, that's why I always tell you to always start with personal credit. Okay, income and employment. Lenders will review your income and employment history to assess your ability to make payments on the loan, right? So they want to make sure that you're employed. Okay, debt to income ratio. Lenders will calculate your debt to income ratio, which you might hear a lot of times is DTI, okay, which is the amount of debt you have compared to the income. Okay, a high DTI can indicate that you may have difficulty making payments on the loan, right? A high DTI might indicate that you may have problems or difficulties making payments to the loan. All right, collateral. If you are applying for a secured loan, such as a mortgage or auto loan, the lender will evaluate the collateral you are offering to secure the loan. Now, a lot of times, collateral is going to be the actual asset that you're buying. So if you're purchasing a truck, or if you're purchasing a vehicle, if you're purchasing a home, that's going to be the asset. So it's attached to that collateral. So if that loan ever go into default for whatever reason, the financial institution is going to be secure because they know that they still have an asset that has a certain value so that they could go recoup whatever it is that they need to get in that default. Okay. Now, purpose of the loan. Very important. Lenders will also consider the purpose of the loan, such as whether it's for business or personal use and how the loan would be used. Okay. That's why I said at the beginning, you got to determine what the loan is for, right? And if you could put it into a plan or some type of information that you're going to give over to the financial institutions to show them what you're going to be using the loan for, it'll increase the chances of you getting approved for that. Okay. Understanding these factors can help you prepare for a strong loan application that meets the lender's requirements. It's important to be transparent about your financial situation and provide accurate and complete information when applying for a loan. Okay. Additionally, understanding the underwriting process can help you improve your chances of getting approved for a loan. For example, if you know that lenders are looking for borrowers with a low DTI, you could work to pay down your debts before applying for the loan. Okay. In summary, understanding the underwriting process is critical when applying for loans and other banking products. By knowing what factors lenders consider when evaluating loan applications, you can prepare a strong application and improve your chances of getting approved for that loan. Yeah. Now, I want to make sure y'all, a few things, that was a lot of information. I know it was a lot of information, but it's great information. Now, this is what I want to tell you guys, right? This is what I want to tell y'all. You got a 15-minute call, okay? We got a 15-minute call. So if you look down below, there's a calendar. I want you to schedule that 15-minute call so we could dive deeper into this underwriting playbook. It's so much more. It's so many things, right? You will see access to the membership. Make sure you get access to that membership. There's so many lessons in there already. It's a great community to be a part of. I want you to be a part of this community. I want to share everything that I know to help you get from one place to another. I'm going to share everything that I know. You know, it's a great community. Schedule that 15-minute call. Let's go deeper into this underwriting map guide, right? And then when you get access to the membership, you'll be able to, it's a beautiful thing, y'all. Look, so much stuff is inside here. So schedule that call. Right below, there's a calendar, 15-minute call. Let's talk about it. Let's go over this map guide and let's talk more about your personal goals and see the things that we have to do to get you exactly where you need to be. It was a pleasure speaking with y'all. Thank you for coming through. My name is Joe Martin, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you again. Peace.